It's the first year that the Harper Cancer Research Institute will be selecting recipients in the fall as well as the spring. Now, these students aren't only scientists, they're engineers, they're philosophers. They could be anybody who's thought of a new way to attack cancer. And this opportunity to explore those ideas is all thanks to one benefactor with the simple belief that by collaborating, these Notre Dame students you see scrolling behind me can find a cure.
Research Like a Champion is going above and beyond the normal everyday work to do something sort of extraordinary.
Something as extraordinary as curing cancer.
For lack of a better term, cancer sucks.
So I think everybody has been personally affected by cancer.
It's my dad. It's his Notre Dame graduation picture. It's been a long time. I should not be so crazy.
When a family member, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 4. It spread everywhere, wounds, brain, lungs. And doctors said that she has few months to live.
I'm particularly interested in this. So my mother had breast cancer. She's been in remission for 2.5 years.
My wife is a breast cancer survivor. She was diagnosed just a couple months before we were married.
My dad was diagnosed with leukemia when I was in 8th grade. He's 15 years now. He's been in remission, so he beat it.
We're featuring 4 groups fighting in their fields to beat cancer once and for all. Biology, bioimaging, even electrical engineering.
The Research Like a Champion program came about due to a benefactor. It was his idea, and what he thought was that wouldn't it be great to involve students in not just doing the cancer research, but coming up with the project ideas. Students are so innovative, they're very technology driven. They don't have preconceived notions, they want to do good things. They might be the weirdest idea that you ever heard, and if 1 or 2 of them or 10 of them work, then we're all better off for it.
22 groups to date, awarded $12,500 apiece, totaling nearly $300,000 since 2014. It's all funneling into curing cancer like a champion.
What Research Like a Champion means to me is striving to be the best that you can be, and kind of pushing the envelope and trying to figure out the next step and the kind of what's coming next, and being on the cutting edge of research and kind of anticipating what's going to be needed in the future.
Jessica Lukowski and her partner Kristen Johnson are on the cutting edge of making cancer treatment more comfortable for patients by better controlling which cells chemotherapy attacks.
Most of my PhD work is not focused on cancer, but we study protein-lipid interactions in the Stalin lab, and after talking to members of the Human lab like Jessica, we realized that together our collaboration could further our research in targeting cancer cells with chemotherapeutics.
While Kristen and Jessica join forces to curb chemo side effects, upstairs, another student researcher is trying to figure out why our own bodies help cancer cells spread.
The problem with cancer research, it's very complicated. Like, cancer itself is not one disease. It's umbrella that cover many diseases. They are different. They share common characteristics, but they are different and require different treatments and different strategies. This makes it very complicated. And Research Like a Champion, you're trying to be more precise and target a question or target a way to treat this cancer, and instead getting lost between all these small details.
Marwa Asam traveled all the way from Egypt to target ovarian cancer cells.
Cancer cells manage to form tubes and tunnels with normal unhealthy tissues and cells around the body. So I'm trying to understand in my projects why healthy tissues and healthy cells contribute to this process, and how it happens, and how can we stop it to make cancer cells more vulnerable to our treatments.
Treatment, this engineering team hopes the medical device they're developing will help guide.
Researching Like a Champion is to do due diligence to not only the research that we're doing, but particularly because we're trying to solve an important problem, that is reach out to breast cancer patients or potential breast cancer patients.
With a low-cost, portable medical imaging device.
Our particular specialty is using light to interrogate tissue, to study tumors and ultimately to hopefully use that as a tool that doctors can use to diagnose.
The team engineering professor Tom O'Sullivan mentors hopes using these safe and non-invasive infrared lights will flip the switch on breast cancer detection.
We look at the response of that light to the breast tissue. So if we can use our system to measure these breast densities in a portable, cheap way, then potentially we can use it as a mechanism to determine whether or not somebody is at a higher risk for breast cancer.
It's probably strange to think you've got a group of electrical engineers working on breast cancer. And that's one of the very unique things about the Harper Cancer Research Institute in particular, is that they've really fully embraced a notion that I believe is that it's going to take many different viewpoints, many people coming from different disciplines to contribute to such a seemingly insurmountable problem like curing cancer.
The magic of the Research Like a Champion program is that it is student-led, student-driven.
This undergraduate student is driving toward printing living tissue, seemingly like magic.
For me, Research Like a Champion provides me with a platform to do research that is quite innovative, that will impact a broad number of people in cancer research. One of the problems is that once all those drug testing techniques happens on animal models and 2D monolayers, so they just have a bunch of cells and then they put it on a plate and just test different drugs on it. But the thing is, the human environment is totally different, and so doing bioprinting, we're able to print living tissues and cells that is kind of representative of the human physiological environment. Once the cancer research gets to the clinical stage, about 8% do work. So with bioprinting, we're going from 8% to, I don't know, more than 50%. So the margin is quite wide.
We don't know where the next greatest innovation is going to come from, where the next cure, where the next detection system is going to come from. And if we give some of these students a chance to find their passion and to try their ideas, we might just have a win.
Anybody who hears the name Research Like a Champion, I hope that's the message that they get, is that our students are being a force for good.